Hey friends, Susan Gregory here, and I just want to quickly share an experience that I had with you that was really an amazing time in my life. Really tough, but still amazing. And truly, it was the scariest time in my life. And then I had this glorious breakthrough because of our faith, because of Jesus Christ, and it changed my life forever. So I invite you to go with me. I'm going to go through this very quickly, leave out a lot of details because I don't want to take up a lot of your time with this. But let's go back to 2007. And at that time, I was living in a very small community on a little farm in central Washington. The town is called Ellensburg, Washington. Um, Central Washington University is here, but it's really a farmland, and it's about 120 miles east of Seattle. And so I was there in a little farm, and at that time I was doing investment real estate where I would buy properties that had work that needed to be done, and I would hire crews and we would rehab the properties and then resell them. And I did both real estate for residential properties as well as commercial properties. And my business had gone quite well. It helped and covered me financially. I was in, good shape. Like, so many people are. Our finances are in pretty good shape. Well, then in 2007, that's when a lot of people that were associated with real estate, whether they're in mortgage business or real estate investing or real estate salespeople, that's when the economy started taking a dive. And we were the first ones to feel it because the recession that then they said started in 2008, although we started feeling it in 2007, was all centered around the what we call the subprime mortgage debacle. And so it was a very tough time for me. People couldn't get money to buy properties. I didn't want to borrow any more money because I had a lot of money going out on fixing the properties and no money coming in because people couldn't buy. And so it ended up that my personal finances and my business finances were really, really being taxed. So I ended up having to use all of my business reserves. And when those business reserves were out, I ended up having to close my office and lay off all of my employees except for those that were fixing the properties. I had to keep the properties going. I ended up closing my office, moving the operation home, and then I started tackling and using my personal reserves, my personal savings to keep the business alive. I didn't want to go into foreclosure. I had a lot of experts that said, you should declare bankruptcy and all that kind of stuff. I absolutely did not want to do this. So it ended up that I used all of my personal reserves and my business reserves. And I've got to tell you, it was scary. I had so many problems, I absolutely didn't know what to do. Now, this is the thing. This is when I came to what I call the end of myself. When we look at our faith, this is when it's like I'd always been able to, make an income for myself and the economy was good. So, there was never really a challenge. And what I realized is that I had really been walking around with what I call these invisible crutches. As long as I could make money and my life was pretty secure, and as long as the economy was in good shape, and, life was pretty good. When those two things fell out from under me, I was in really, really bad shape. And it's when I realized that even though I had been a believer for so long, my faith in my dependence on God really wasn't as strong as it needed to be. And that's when I got into studying His Word, just being hungry for His Word. And I didn't feel hopeless, but I felt like I was kind of nudging right up to it. I was really, really desperate. I spent hours and hours in the Word of God, just learning anything I could and praying and spending, so much time with Him. And like I say, that's when I came to the end of myself. It was the scariest, darkest period of my life. By that time, I was in my 50s. I had struggled through a lot of really major things, major illnesses, a car accident that just about killed me and caused, years of recovery, a marriage that, where I had an unwanted divorce. It just, it was in a, just broke my heart. But this was by far the scariest time in my life. I didn't know how I was going to be able to survive financially. And then I had a breakthrough. God showed me an idea. He showed me some things that I could do. It had to do with my writing. He got me back into Christian writing. And it was like, he opened a path for me. Now, I'm not saying that the only breakthroughs that God gave me were financial. It was a life changing breakthrough about my faith, about my dependence on Him. And He then was able to move me into this place where I never had to declare bankruptcy. I was able to pay all my bills on time.